The Birthing Better skills developed in the early 1970s. I had the privilege of working with hundreds of families who developed these skills. They came from a broad background, and yes, it was in the United States. These skills don't come from traditional communities, and I don't happen to be a midwife, a childbirth educator, or a doula. However, I really like the idea that we're skilled. Through a stumble and a bumble, Birthing Better skills developed, and one of the skills was breathing in birth. As I said before, the birth breathing of Grantley Dick Reed and Lamaze and the Bradley method worked for some, but didn't work for everyone. In fact, the majority of people it didn't work for. The majority of people were not planning or could not have a normal birth. They didn't experience pain-free labors, and many of them just had the evidence-based medical assessments, monitoring, and procedures that were routine at whatever phase they had their baby. So Birthing Better families really wanted to change from techniques to skills, because as I said before, techniques don't adapt, they don't adjust, and they're often not sustainable. So we actually had to nut this out from scratch. And what's scratch? We had to figure out how humans breathe. Well, we all breathe the same way. There are 4 breathing patterns, and we're going to give you your first ebook on those 4 breathing patterns. Men and women do the same thing. There's no variation, except that each pattern has its own variations, and that's going to be in the ebook as well. So the difference between techniques and skills is that when you learn the 4 breathing patterns and then can experiment and play around with the variations, you will find the good breathing patterns that help you to cope, stay focused, and stay in control. That's important, because once you find out how you do it, and you can share that with your birth coach, then they can help you because they can hear whether or not you're having difficulty maintaining those good breathing patterns. These good breathing patterns work in every birth. It's your baby. You don't care how anybody else births. You want to have the best birth possible. In other words, we at Birthing Better and all of the thousands of Birthing Better families developed really sustainable, adaptable, and usable breathing skills that you can discover for yourself based on how we breathe as human beings.